Dire's courier has been killed. Each brave courier, Dire shall look.
All in service to imbalance.
their structures against attack.
Never refuse gold given.
area here of this triangle, but they ended up losing that Aegis.
Yeah, and if you're glad you're so happy with that, right? You got the perfect fight where you're able to not only use Underlord to prevent the contest of Roshan, because that perfectly placed pit and Firestorm we see here in the highlight. This pit, it forces Entity to trade good initiation for just jumping into still the Aegis, right? You now have two heroes going for it. Doom gets it, but in doing so, it's forced. Entity, it looked like a callback ult. Like on paper, like, oh, but it didn't hit enough heroes. There still was one stun available, instant cancel. And now Gladiators, they use that to keep going.
Yeah, they are indeed chasing after Fishman here, and he's trying to get that life drain. Fishman, though, that'll fall. The kill on Tofu.
Oh, no.
Tower will go down. Ace now, he just got back up, and he's back down again. Haystream will get picked up, though, by Ember. Was doomed, but thanks to Celery, he's still alive and kicking the tether over. Gonna try to run away as Stormstormer was looking for that follow-up, but won't be able to have vision.
I was just praising like the drawn-out fight from Gladiators, the poke, the weight, the mispositioning of Entity. We jump from that highlight straight into another fight where Gladiators have like thrown all their bodies deep behind a tower. It's like, that's the opposite of what we just said, Chief. That ain't the one. So yeah, unfortunately for Gladiators, they got a bit happy and excited with the fight they just won, and yeah, the Entity just ready to run it back at them. And now the Leshrac picked up a BKB. This is a Kaya Sanj BKB Leshrac, super ready to run into the middle of the fight, just press all the buttons and do all the damage.
Feels like this Luna has had a bit of an issue with finding the positioning within these fights. Celery doing the best he can, obviously. You know, he's trying to keep her alive, but they have a lot of just jump coming out from the side of Entity and a lot of burst.
It's super hard positioning because you need to respect the damage mitigation of Neverward. You don't want to stand idle in the Midnight Pulse, nor do you want to stand too close to your Io for the double black hole. You rely on your team to be ready to help you. Like, there's a lot of small checkboxes you have to tick to execute a clean fight from Gladiators, and that's where Entity, they are kind of abusing it right now. They're utilizing that the unfortunate nature of the fights and making it a little bit messier for Gladiators. Once again, it feels like Entity just have Gladiators' number a little bit. Every smoke, we've not seen a perfect smoke right now from Gladiators. They're in like 2 games. Every time they've crossed the river, they've made to look for a move. They've either found a support, or they've kind of fallen into a big fight that they've eventually lost due to maybe buybacks or whatever. But Entity, they've just really had a good read so far in these games.
Definitely feels like they have a solid the Entity has a good identity. Well, that's a lot of bounty runs over there, but they have a very solid understanding of how they want to, you know, play, how they want to move, their item timings. They're looking very good so far. And, you know, this is the beginning of the DPC, so I'd be feeling pretty excited if you're an Entity fan. Go for a smoke play, wander through the river, and see who they can scoop up, because no one's home in the bottom area, that's for sure.
EKB on Ember. It's a brand new item there as well. Nice little.
Okay, it's gonna be Tofu who gets jumped on, so it's not the worst here going for Gladiators, but what is the worst is this black hole coming out from top. They already have the Doom up. They got Duracho, take down Ace, and Boom is now forced to pop the BKB and get himself out. Yeah, Celery wasn't able to go for that reload, unfortunately. See the tips getting dropped, and he is next to be dead.
Ooh. Again, just the way in which Entity sets up their fights, right? They pushed out their lanes, their smoke, they know where exactly Gladiators are going to be. As they enter the smoke, enter the fight, it's the high ground ward, and then get the vision. Enigma's then ready to double initiate. Like, you wait for your DK to open up the engagement, your Doom to open up the engagement, then you just catch the perfect jump of getting 2 cores. So yeah, Entity, they're playing this game just super methodically, and they're not rushing. You can feel the discipline in how they play to make sure that when they make a move, it feels like it's always going to convert successfully. Sure, there's some times where the enemy might make a better play or might outplay them in the moment, but like macro-wise, they are just being so comfortable in how they're moving right now.
Now, I'm not familiar. Does Entity have a coach currently?
I believe they picked up a new lad.
Okay.
And the new lad's name is... damn it. That was for a different team.
Name.
All right, I didn't have the answer. Hold on. No,
Right.
they didn't pick up a new lad. They got an old lad.
An old lad.
Old lad, yeah. He is 29 years old, and I don't really know how to
That's not
pronounce
that
it.
old.
That's very old. Ancient, some might say.
It's because you're a baby.
It's Metpum. I don't know how to pronounce it. The T's might be a different letter.
Okay.
But his name's Daniil. There you go.
Okay. Interesting.
And he's been around with the team since the Creepwave days. So
Oh, okay.
it's not a new lad. It is very much. He's been with the Creepwave entity, be it Fishman, Chrysalis, or ATF, that kind of group. And now it's been morphed into this team. So yes, they do have a coach. God, that could have been a much easier answer, Moxley, but I floundered. I really did. I floundered in the moment.
I'm glad that you got me the answer at the end of the day. That's
I'm happy
what's
this is a
important.
cast, not a panel. If that was a panel, I've only got 20 seconds to speak, so that would have been me over. Career's done.
You're fine. Everything's
though.
fine. We got the correct answer eventually. I'm just curious
panic
because
after
if
this
it was
one.
someone new, like I feel like this entity, like the way that they're playing is just so much more focused than what we've seen before, right?
I think it helps that this team's been on boot camp for at least, I'd say maybe longer, honestly.
Okay.
But they have been boot camping and really kind of practicing for the season. Because again, for Tour 3, this is a tour where you got to make it to the major. You got to get at least, top 2 or whatever to get enough points if you aren't even in top 12 contention, right? So for some teams that don't even have any DPC points to the name, this is the tour to make your mark in the scene and to try and get that kind of sneak in for the TI invite.
It's pretty exciting. A lot on the line. For sure. Entity just kind of grouping up together. They realize that there's strength in numbers. It's farming up this triangle area. Just making sure that the gladiators can't crack into it. Can't get that vision down like they might like. You have the black hole
I
back
think
up.
if you're both teams again so possible, but yeah, for Luna to feel happy in this game, it honestly feels like Skadi satanic kind of territory. All the drawn out fights.
You have the nihilism now picked up too for this Shrek. Positioning going to be key here. They're grouped up very tightly. Do have to be careful as Pure chasing them. They've already used the double from back line. Chasing down Celery is just burning over here to the Shrek. We go for the swap because the Doom did get used over to Boom. They'll end up losing Celery, so they're going to buy back. Wants to be back into the fight, but Tofu is going to be next. As they're just getting chipped down and burnt here. Back and forth. They need to finish off this Shrek, but they just don't seem to have quite enough damage. They go for the black hole, grabbing over onto 3. They're stunned up. They're taking the damage. The follow-up then Toby. Yes, all right. There's going to be a double kill coming out for Boom. A lot of buybacks happening during that from the Gladiators, though. An expensive fight. 10k net worth over on the side of Entity.
Could fight like Entity. They started with this jump onto Vengeful Spirit, and it was the forcing Gladiators to never cleanly connect on any of their heroes. They don't have this cheaper lockdown. Bam, got a highlight here, right? It's this. You got the initiation on the top, less cutting in deep, but for Gladiators, they have no way to kind of localize a fight. Entity can just freely run around and do what they want. So Gladiators, they got to retreat a little bit, then poke. They got to swap out, go back in. Luke eventually does die. But the best part of this highlight, and I'm really looking forward to it, if we wait about maybe 4 seconds time, it's a fat black hole we're about to see. And unfortunately, there's nowhere there, no one there. And this is the thing, finally Gladiators grouped up good enough for a black hole, but it was already 40 seconds deep into the fight. So both teams, they've got to be careful.
Gotcha. Popping the BKBs overcharged by Celery, but just have to be a bit careful. You can see Boom on the back lines, popping his own BKB, chasing down Kataomi. Should be a dead Doom. The chase is on. They have the... Okay. All right, the IO coming in to make sure that Luna can get out safely, as not looking so great here for Tofu. That's a lot of damage being placed on the draw. Yeah, that's going to be Fishman. And the follow-up here from Ace. He's been vesseled, and he's going to try to do some more damage over to Stormstormer, but he's already popped his own BKB, so looks like he should be able to escape. As Entity's just going to back off.
Absolute scrap in the mid lane.
It's funny
And I
because
think overall victors might actually be Gladiators here. Roshan is respawning as they walk into the pit. No, lads, poke your head back
they just
in.
miss
No.
it. They just miss it.
No.
Bigger fish to
So often
fry.
you
Maybe
see
hoping
that-
they can get
that's
this
a
little
rare one.
Shrek. Look, they're waiting patiently. Sidestep split Earth. Try to handle this Shrek, hold him into place. He's popping his BKB. He can dish out a lot of damage with his Pulse Nova. Ace is trying to run away, trying to get out there fast enough, and the IO will try to keep him alive a little bit longer, but not sure if it's going to be quite enough as they just we lose 3 over on the side of Gladiators. And oh god, it is just a Boom now alive. The Doom is back up. They're just going to chase down this Ember, and it's going to be a team wipe. And the Roche is there.
For Entity as well.
Yeah, for the taking.
All right, just to be clear though, unfortunately for Gladiators, even if they did poke their heads in and saw Roshan as it respawned, there was already Entity vision outside the pit. So Entity would have been well aware, probably thrown down some spells to prevent it and to draw out longer. But you see the nature of Gladiators. They know they're behind. They know they need to try and get something on their side. So they check Roshan. It's not there. We have to get a kill. They have to get something because they need to be able to ideally have a numbers advantage for this Roshan. It doesn't work out for them. They fall victim to Entity being ready to running it back down mid once again. And yeah, this nature of play is very volatile. And they're well aware of it. They're ready for it. And they now get the Aegis once again. Very hard for Gladiators to take these fights into all the BKBs that Entity have. There's so much pressure on like Tofu being in the best position to get the clutch swap or that black hole cancel. It's a very difficult game with the lineup that Gladiators have after not kind of propelling their laning phase into aggressively sieging or occupying the kind of the mid game.
It feels like we're consistently seeing Pure on these heroes that are able to, and it's not even that he's like sitting too far back, but like they just can't seem to either get enough damage out to kill him, or they can't get their hands on him because he's running around too quickly. He's got, the solutions with like a BKB or whatnot. That's proven to be a huge problem for them.
Yeah, he's done a very good job just finding the farm in this game. Look at the net worth, right? He
hasn't died once.
6-7k ahead. Yeah, hasn't died.
Now he's got a Shiva.
Overall, it's just one of those games, right? Like game 1, it's a sniper where he's getting ultra kills at minute 15, and in this game, you're getting 3 towers and Aegises galore with no smoke ever connecting on you. It's like the carry's dream.
Now they've got a BKB picked up for the Enigma, so it just becomes more and more difficult because you're so reliant on this Vengeful Spirit to be able to have a swap to cancel out the black hole if needed, or you have to save your Luna for some reason, because IO can only do so much. It just feels like there's a lot of pressure being placed on this lineup. Boom's doing the best that he can. You can see that Ace, he's struggled a bit during this game, especially during laning, and Duracho is just having difficulty just dealing enough to deal with everything.
Yeah, the key thing for Gladiators might be Entity's reluctance to want to try and go high ground with their heroes. With Aegis, sure, Lesh can go up there with an Edict and DK can poke it with an ultimate, but against Avenge with that big swap back to the tier 3s, or tier 4s, sorry, that alone could kind of deter Entity from wanting to go for a traditional siege. And this lead that Entity have, it might not feel as big, so that's why they're respecting it. That's why they're pushing around the map, trying to clear Gladiators back into their base. But this easily could stale out and become a very slow game as Entity just respect the potential high ground defense of Gladiators. And it's on Duracho right now on his Luna. If he can somehow like eke out the Satanic and then maybe after that, win a team fight, get a Skadi or something, of going, comeback potential. But I wouldn't rule out Gladiators right now. They still have a couple quirky plays to make, unless Luna just gets picked up here.
Okay. Trying to break the angles. No, they see her. They see this Luna. She doesn't have anyone here to help her. Bumps the BKB. They even go for the Doom. Trying to go in there. Can they get out time? No, they cannot. It was a valiant play from Celery, but it will be the death of the IO and the death of the Luna.
I mean, everything I just said was built around Duracho kind of sneaking around them, covertly finding the farm. Unfortunately, he just was like, yeah, he's there. Kill him. Get him out. That's unfortunate.
Like taunting a little bit there with the courier. I'm gonna stop. Yeah, he's just being allowed to wander around. Get the swap up. He's just, hey, save me, punish him. He still has the Aegis though. This is not looking that scary for him, honestly. Stormstormer does manage to find the Vengeful Spirit, so Tofu will be falling, and then he's gonna just pop that Aegis. Can they kill him a second time? That was the question. It is kind of scary here. I'm not sure if they'll be able to, especially not with the rest of the team nearby. Fishman, of course, he's in position. If needed, he can heal Pure back up. Stormstormer, whoever he likes.
I think Gladiators are happy with that, though. Sure, they just lost their Luna in bot lane and kind of stalled out the farm, but they got rid of the Aegis. They were able to find a way to, sure, it was Leshrac being very aggressive, but the fact that you're able to kill off the Aegis, and now you force Entity to, if you want to come siege our base, you don't have the Aegis factor, you're going to have to wait 4 minutes, plus then the Roshan respawn time, so potentially, anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes here. That gives them a little bit of air, at least, but still very much Entity-favored game, 100%.
How much of that is the cockiness of youth sort of thing, where you're like, wow, we're doing so well, and then you just watch your core just run into the enemy base.
I feel like any player that plays on a creep wave / entity team will always have a bit of bravado on them. That is for sure. That is
that the
installed in their yes, the Crystallis, the Amar, the Fishman, the legacy. Yes, the legacy that they've given. It's very much an interesting one. But it clearly works out because the players are getting picked up by other teams.
That's true. Maybe the whole, not necessarily fake it till you make it, but the bravado, right? It's if you believe in yourself, other people will believe in you. This is scary for Doraccio here. They can see it. They're leading forward. It's his arm off. The mech gets used, but they're trying to get the spots. They're going to be able to do it faster. Toby, though, going in. They'll be able to make sure that this Isle cannot do anything. Fishman taking a lot of damage over the back line. He's not looking for Doraccio. He's going to be next to fall. And now Ace getting just chipped away by Kataomi. Tofu barely alive here. Gonna try to teleport out, but who's not gonna be able to is Boom, as they just walk right up, stun him in place, and put the pressure over on these towers. Now there still is, that tier 2 in the bottom, but they'll turn their attention over to the mid lane. Stormer having that dragon form still up, trying to apply some of this damage to the towers. But Ace, he is an Underlord. That's going to be a little bit easier for him to kind of clean up some of these waves here and push them away, at least for now.
Yeah, they found the perfect jump. The one-time gladiators, they poke their head outside a base. They're trying to, 4-5-man farm the Ancient. They're underneath Entity Vision that unlocks them to get this perfect black hole.
Stormer, he's feeling aggressive. Fireball had the
Why not?
Nearby, though, is going to try to keep him alive. He'll get the swap off from Tofu, doing his job. This is not looking good for Tofu, as he's going to be the sacrifice. Pressure again placed over onto these racks. Ace a bit scared to approach. Can't blame him with the amount of blink and the stuns that they have, but looks like Entity will be happy with the tower half a racks. And they're going to back for now.
I just want to ideally wait for the black hole to be back up from Toby. He's going to have a refresher soon. Complete. There's also 2 black holes you've got to think about. Doom as well, nearly got refresher, but you see from the fight here, there is a ward at the very south of this fight, so they see literally everything. They initiate with the Blink Dagger on the track, a beautiful black hole from the Enigma. At that point, the fight's over. They're just cleaning them up. So much AoE damage being thrown out. Gladiators, they can't position perfectly to take this fight, and they're gonna run away. That's what they'd be scared of. They ideally need to, now that they lost mid-rank, it gets even harder, but they have to hope for an initiation that doesn't go cleanly. A DK stun, and then to a swap from the Venge, and then you maybe relocate out as well, and then their positioning allows for Gladiators to click them down and chase them. But when Entity are being so ruthless, where one Blink Dagger is instant kill into then the black hole on multiple heroes, that style of play, Gladiators can't play into. They're just not strong enough.
Got a lot of refreshers.
This way, see this smoke now. Yeah.
Coming out here, we got the refresher for the eating, but we also have refreshing Doom, though. Doraccio leading the charge. Toby getting into position here. Knows that he has to be careful, because if he... Yeah, all right, there it is. There's going to be the first one to fall. As now they'll follow up and put all of their damage onto this Luna. A good swap coming out again will protect Tofu. Getting left behind Doraccio, though, trying to find this opening. Does manage to land a Lucent Beam over to Kataomi, who's going to have to go and pop that BKB. As you can see now, the Leshrac getting onto the back lines. He's doing so much damage as he takes that tempo. You lose Celery. Doraccio, he's left all alone. He doesn't have anyone to buff him at this point. So the Luna, he's going to die. The Fiend's Gate was up. They doomed the Underlord over here on the side. And they're looking for more. And it's looking like they'll get themselves an Underlord, and perhaps they'll get themselves a Boom, too. As he'll get himself a kill before trying to run away. But still, Leshrac hunting him on the hunt. Just gonna be able to break those ankles, though, as Leshrac not finding him. The teleports are out.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to deal with this Leshrac who just blinks in. or even the DK, right? Like you have these double BKB blink heroes that once they jump into the middle of the fight, they're throwing fireballs or stuns. They've got, you know, Shivas and Pulse Nova. There's so much damage coming out that the Io and the Venge, they can't position accordingly to deal with it. And of course, we're talking about a 27k gold lead, right? But even when it was a 5k gold lead or a 10k gold lead, and they had these blink daggers, it kind of had the same feeling where with this double support duo, unless you're the ones leading the charge, where your cores are the one in the lead, it's so difficult to defend a weaker core and then yourself on top of that. And that's where Entity, every single fight, they're just playing with so much confidence because they identified the fact that their only way that they die is by wasting their BKBs or to being like behind tier 4s at this point. So yeah, very much playing with confidence, playing with understanding of how they're winning the fights, and it's fun to watch. It's very aggressive.
This is a very dark map for the side of the Gladiators. They have pretty much no vision available, and there's a little bit of vision being placed out here by the side of Entity. Mostly a little bit defensive over there, but they do feel more confident, obviously, being able to move around the way that they are. They do another smoke on the side of Gladiators. They're hoping that they can get something else, and Stormstormer is going to be pretty difficult. In fact, already he just blinks away, and there's quite a few people on the high ground. It feels like almost that they know this, so they'll drop the ward immediately, countered. They're looking to make this initiation. Yeah, the Shrek, he does so much, he just goes right in over at the back, and two of them immediately just get obliterated. The Black Hole does indeed get used over onto the Luna Ace. It's not looking good. It's gonna finally get the kill over onto Shrek, as they'll turn this right back around. They'll find Fishman, and now the chase is on another Black Hole coming out from Toby as he's dragging back over onto multiple. So he'll be able to take down Boom, and they're looking to clean up now over on the Gladiators. Show to fall. Ace is next, and they'll clean up Tofu. That is a team wipe coming out from the side of Entity, and this is a Roche that is free for the taking yet again. Woo.
Game, like, it's been 2 games. Game after game, they have been just perfectly positioned for these smokes. Like, I've said it already, but we've not yet seen a Gladiator smoke that has felt good. This is a very optimistic play. They're trying to run into the triangle, inside the river. Plant up as 4, allows for a perfect black hole, clipping 3, Ember dodges it. Then you have the refresher, bam, hits another 3, but you got to give it to Gladiators. They're trying for these Hail Mary smokes. They're giving it a go, but Entity, they understand that the only way that they lose this game is this type of smoke, catching off a key hero and running down to get more, right? So they're in position, they take the fight, and yeah, it's so hard to fight this lineup. It's a really pleasant draft from Entity. Played it pretty well.
It's looking very powerful. It's looking like this might even be the beginning of the end, especially if we lose Duracho here. Yeah, this is... All right, I hope it's a short trip home, but they're trying... Oh, he's not even going to be able to save him, is he? Oh, my word. That should not be allowed. Yeah, that's a tip. That is indeed a tip. The GGs get called. Entity, they're just playing such clean-looking Dota today. They're feeling good. They take down the Gladiators.
This was a much, I'd say a much stronger performance from last year. I think, or last quarter, not last year. It's been so long.
Reservoir.
Ulti. Nice, nice. One B.
Let's go BB. Tunnel. One pass. One B. Silver 3. Beerus. Window. 2B, 2A. B clear. Plant, bomb plant. TVS. Long in. More to long. Tagged. Short tagged 70. Mid. Mid. Save, let's save. Save bot USB. I mid. Mid tag 90. You go. Long flashed. Pit. Hold. Nice play, nice play.